was? Well, to talk about it, I'm joined by the man who developed that test, University of Greenwich psychologist, Dr. Josh Davis, and also by Kenny Long, who is indeed a super recognizer. He was part of the world's first specialist police unit, now a member of Super Recognizers International. I'm not kidding you, it does exist. Now, I took the test this morning, gentlemen. I scored a valiant 10 out of 14. So, Josh, the test is your invention. What does that tell you about me?
That tells you that you are slightly better than average at face recognition. And
is that all? Because when I got the 10 out of 14, because I should explain to all the viewers, you get a series of faces, then they disappear, and then you've got to recognise them in a field of faces. I was told at the end by my computer, you could be a super recogniser.
It is quite unlikely. Most super recognisers get either 100% on the test, or they might get one accidentally wrong. It's a very short test. It's measuring very, very short-term face memory ability. To actually understand whether someone is a super recognizer or not, we need to measure their longer term ability, which we do. We also need to measure their ability to, for instance, spot faces in a crowd. The skill in that test is one of the very important skills for super recognition.
Right, well, we're just showing a few of the pics that come up on your test, and that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. You have to spot them once you've seen the individual in a group. But what's happening with a super recognizer? What makes them different from the rest of us? Because I gather about perhaps less than 1% qualify to be super recognizers.
Yeah, we think so. We think it's less than 1%. We think that there is a genetic link possibly with face recognition ability in all of us. We get the genes from our parents maybe, and the super recognisers are also seen to be very good at perhaps recognising sort of faces that they don't see so often. So we've even done research finding they're better at recognising baby faces than the rest of us.
Yes or no? Are you a super recognizer?
No, I'm
You're
terrible.
not. Now, so, okay, so let's abandon you for a moment and get to Kenny. Now, you are a super recognizer. How did you discover that you'd got the skill, and how have you used it in the police force?
Right, so I didn't realise I had the skill until it was then DCI Mick Neville come along and said, how comes you're making so many identifications whereby you're getting fantastic results and the people get convicted at court?
Right.
I said, doesn't everybody do this? I thought it was an average thing. I thought, yeah, we all do this all the time. I didn't realise I had this ability until I was told that this wasn't ability. So
tell us your best, your proudest moment of super recognition.
One of my favourites, to be quite honest. I was working in Ilford at the time as a police officer.
Yeah, near London, in the east of
just on
England,
the outskirts of London. And there was a male who was one of the Met's top wanted for a series of burglaries all over London, for a large series of burglaries. They believed the suspect was actually out of the country. I was going along Ilford Lane and I saw a vehicle come past me, and I only saw the side of this person's face. And bearing in mind, I've only ever seen a picture on a briefing of the front of the person's face, never met the person. So I was like, OK, let's put a stop in. So we put a stop in on the vehicle.
Because you just thought, that's him?
Well, instantly I thought, right, that's him. He's meant to be out of the country, but I've seen this picture on the briefing. That is the suspect. So I've quickly turned around the police car. We've pulled him over because we're in a covert unit at the time.
And it was him?
It was. He gave false details because apparently he'd been stopped by several police officers giving false details.
I don't want all the detail of that. I want to cut to the chase and ask you, how do you do it? Is it the eyes, the nose, the ears? Right. What are you looking for?
Personally, for me, the first thing I notice is the ears. I always go for the ears first of all. If it's an identification where I think, oh, it's going to be a hard one, I go for the ears because the ears has the most detail for me when I'm looking at someone's face.
Dr. Josh, I want to be this man. I want to be a super recognizer. How can I improve my super recognition skills?
We don't think you can actually train it, and what Kenny says is quite unusual because most people aren't going to ever look at the ears when they're thinking about recognising someone's face, and maybe that's something that almost Kenny's trained himself to become better at recognising faces, or more importantly to discount faces that they're not interested in, because of course most of the faces you see are not the targets. Hundreds, thousands of them, and that's what a super recognizer does.
Yeah, Kenny, clearly it's stood you in good stead in your police work, but are there any downsides to never being able to forget a face?
Yeah, there's quite a lot, because the amount of times I'm walking along the high street and I'll see someone coming towards me and I'm like, I know that person, and they're looking at me quite strange, and I'm like, oh, hi, how you doing? It's not that they actually know me, it's because I've seen them before.
Right.
So the amount of times people must think I'm a stalker is unbelievable.
Yeah. Now, policing is one area where I can see this is very valuable. You run this Super Recognisers International group. Are there any other spheres of life where it's a very useful skill?
Oh, it's a fantastic skill, and it can be used all over. It can transfer easily to border control, whereby you've got to steal these people. Why would you want someone who's not a Super Recogniser checking passport images, whereby you can have someone who's been academically identified as a Super Recogniser to check these images, rather than someone who could possibly have prosopagnosia you don't know?
What's the word for somebody who's catastrophically useless?
That is prosopagnosia. It's the scientific word. Some people call it face blindness, whereby they can't. Prosopagnosics can't even recognise, faces of their partners, their husbands or wives or their children. They'll look at a photograph and just go, no.
Wow.
And that's obviously
And is there a
problem.
therapy for that?
There is no treatment at the moment for prosopagnosia. People sometimes have a stroke, for instance, and they can gain other cognitive abilities, but not their face recognition.
Well, I tell you what, it is absolutely fascinating. Josh and Kenny, I thank you both for coming in. Sad to say, clearly I'm not a Super Recogniser, but I've enjoyed learning all about it. Thank you both very much indeed. That's pretty much it from this edition of GMT. You can reach me on Twitter. I'm @Stephen Sackur. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.